Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about why max effort training or one rep max training is the most functional form of strength that you could possibly train for. And I think it's ironic that you have all of these supposed experts on functional fitness who don't do anything even remotely resembling what I'm doing here. You guys can watch me hitting different maxes on different boxes and some pulls and different bench presses and stuff. And what I want you guys to think about as I'm talking about this, and you think about the functional fitness fad that's been out there a long time, and look at what I'm doing, and then compare it to what they're doing, and you tell me which one is going to be more functional. What's going to make it harder to knock you down? It's going to make it harder for someone to knock you down out on a football field or out on the street? Which one is going to give you the ability to strain really and truly hard against something awkward? Right? Hopping around on one leg? Or doing what you just watched me do right there with chain swinging? Okay. How about sitting down all the way back onto a deep box that's several inches below parallel with 500 pounds on your back and standing back up with it? What about doing it with different bars, against bands, against swinging chains, for an all-out one rep max heaviest weight that you can lift without getting stapled? Same thing, watch all this bench training. Maxing against bands, which have their own unique dynamic tension, against chains, different bars, different strength curves. Or even if you just had normal bars for this stuff. What's more functional? Doing the stuff that they do in functional fitness or stuff like this? It should be very, very clear to you. It should be very, very clear. And it's not what they're doing for functional fitness. Now, am I saying that this is the only training people should do? No. This compromises a very small part of my training. I max out on 2 exercises every week. My training is pretty intense and pretty long. I spend a lot of time building muscle, hypertrophy, dynamic effort work. Spend a lot of time on support musculature, obviously. But that would all be functional strength, right? How about people run the West Side method or conjugate method like I use? If you train like that, that's pretty functional. It came out of powerlifting, but it's been used to train NFL players, top-level MMA fighters. Matt Winning's training with your tax dollars right now, a whole group of Army Rangers using this system, okay, for special forces. Baseball players, wrestlers, tons of elite athletes use this training system. Alex Viada uses this training system to coach his hybrid athletes who compete in multiple sports. And a lot of it's based upon the max effort system. Lifting maximum weight, exerting maximum force against a big, heavy, awkward weight. Okay, that right there, look at that. That's a safety squat bar. It pulls you forward. You have to fight against it to stay upright. That's not more functional than what these clowns do. And for anyone who's new to this, I'm 43 years old, by the way. So, what is functional strength? Right here, here's functional strength. 615-pound deadlift. I think that's pretty functional to be able to just pick that up off the floor. So what's the difference? They're not actually developing strength at all. Okay, real strength carries over. A truly strong person will be strong at anything they grab or pull or push. All right? Maximum strength is not even specific to the lift you do. There's a reason people like me rotate through tons of different lifts all the time for maxes. Because it doesn't matter. It all carries over. If you get good at pushing or pulling maximally and finding your groove doing so, you'll be good at pulling or pushing against anything. Right? If you're used to doing different stuff like this, you'll be good at anything. That could include a tree that's fallen on top of somebody, some of these functional fitness scenarios. If a tree has fallen over on a baby and you need to lift it off of them to save their life. The functional fitness scenarios. Well, What's going to help you do that better? Hopping around on one leg and bouncing on a Bosu ball? Or learning how to hit a maximum squat with 3 different types of barbells or chains or bands, or learning how to do 4 different types of deadlifts for a 1 rep max? So you're used to pushing and pulling and grinding against awkward loads with everything that you have. Now, people who say, well, isn't that dangerous? No, not really. No. I do it with reasonably heavy weights in my 40s. I don't get hurt doing this. In fact, people who use this system don't usually get hurt at all ever doing their maxes. Plenty of the coaches who coach it point that out. People get hurt, but they get hurt doing other stuff. It's not their 1 rep maxes. We're prepared for this. We're used to this. Get overuse injuries. Most injuries are caused by overuse, by the way. In the weight room, they're not caused from lifting a maximum weight, unless you really don't know what you're doing. And the interesting thing is that I know coaches out there who coach every one of their clients on max effort, and they don't market themselves as functional fitness. They just market themselves as strength and fitness, kind of like my title. I know of at least one coach right now. Got a great podcast, a guy called Jason Leonards. Guy has a really good podcast. He just doesn't have a big following. But I mean, that's a perfect example. If you look at what he does at his gym, he's got all these housewives and middle-aged people and everyone else maxing on 4 different exercises. And they keep track of it all at the gym, like all his clients and stuff. They all max out. All of them. Grandmothers and stuff. He's got them hitting 1 rep maxes and they don't get hurt. He has them do squat, bench, deadlift, and I think the trap bar deadlift, high handle. They got 4 different lifts they all max on, and they keep track of everybody up on a board at his gym, because it's a private gym, right? And he's a coach and trainer, right? That's functional strength. That's functional fitness. And if your training is geared towards being able to lift maximum weights and straining maximally without getting hurt, that's the thing. You build your training around building your ability to do this injury free, and to do it every week all the time, right? And to just grab awkward loads and lift them. This is functional strength. This is functional fitness. Why aren't the people who claim to be promoting that doing this stuff? Why aren't you having your people do 1 rep maxes? Again, well, I don't think it's safe. You'll hear inexperienced trainers say that. And I can tell you, anyone who says that is a very inexperienced coach, that it's dangerous. Well, what does the ethics review board say for exercise science research? Do they allow 1 rep maxes in testing multiple times? Yes, they do. Do you know why? Because they reviewed it and determined it's not dangerous. So if it's ethical for clinical trials, right? If it's ethical for clinical trials in exercise science to take your test subjects and have them max out multiple times through the course of a study, and it's done frequently all the time, not very dangerous. Plenty of coaches who actually know anything have their clients do it all the time and track everyone, have their clients compete, have their whole gym compete against each other. It's not dangerous. It's actually functional. Because unfortunately, functional fitness is usually not functional and it's not fitness. Learning to strain against a heavy weight is. Again, it's part of a larger integrated system, of course. Because my own system I use here is obviously a much, much larger system, but this is a critical component to it. It teaches you how to strain. It teaches you how to grind. It teaches you how to exert maximum force with everything that you have. Okay, because look at that. That was not easy there, by the way. Especially off that low box. Right? I didn't have anything left. If I had put 10 more pounds on that bar and tried it again, I wouldn't have got it. It's everything I had. That's functional strength. And you take in the conditioning components of some of this type of training, and then it becomes all around functional fitness, the conditioning and dynamic aspects, the explosive training. So again, I would ask people who think that they are training for any sort of functional fitness in the real world, do you lift 1 rep max lifts against big, heavy barbells regularly? If the answer is no, you're not functional. And if you coach people and you claim that it's functional and it will carry over to whatever other else they're doing in the real world, these emergency situations or sports or anything else, then you're a scam artist. You're a scam artist. And that's the truth. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.